To start off, we are going to this section on music entertainment. We're going all the way from Africa back into the Caribbean and back. Let's go straight to, let's have Melbourne start off us and take us to Jamaica with Michael Grizzle.
Hello. African curators, Adrian and Akindele and Barbara, you're doing an exceptional job with this program, and it's been very informative. And similar like yesterday, it was really good. I'm not too sure if my friend Michael Grizzle is on, who's the chief for the Flagstaff Maroons. But what I was going to do as a way of introduction for him was basically in 2016 I had been invited to the Treaty Day that the Maroons have, recognizing the treaty with the British again for the Maroon War, and I had given a presentation that I made, and I thought it would be good to just give excerpts from it because there's quite a bit of information that I'm sure some people may or may not be aware of. So I'm just going to read some excerpts from it and then make a couple of additional comments. So I'll just read verbatim from what I had said. I know most of you already know the historical connection between Sierra Leone and the Maroons. However, I hope my message today will supplement that knowledge. Upon exile to Nova Scotia after the Second Maroon War, the Trelawny Maroons did not fare well to the Nova Scotian climate and land and petitioned the British government that they wanted to be repatriated to Sierra Leone instead. Upon receiving this petition, the then governor entered into negotiations with the Corker family, a well-known slave trading family at the time, to settle the Maroons on Banana Island, a few miles south of Freetown. However, because of the continuing disagreement over ownership of the islands between the Corkers and the Clevelands, another slave trading family, the negotiations stalled. So in 1800, 550 Maroons arrived in Freetown just in time to help the British authorities quell a rebellion that had arisen between some of the earlier Nova Scotian settlers and the British authorities over taxes. The Maroons soon quashed the rebellion, eliciting this comment from one of the settler rebels: "You don't fight fair. You don't kill them and be done with it. You poke them, you poke them, you poke them." Talking about how the Maroons fought. Anyways, the Maroons soon settled in Maroon Town, which, as we know, was from the Cotton Tree all the way to Jockey Bridge. And they settled in west of Settler Town. And by 1820 had built the Maroon Church, one of the oldest churches in Sierra Leone, incorporating the bell and timber from the ship that brought them to Freetown. We heard about this yesterday as well from Barbara Richards. However, because of sort of tensions and sort of unfair goings on in Freetown, they kept petitioning the British government to repatriate them back to Jamaica. Every time they petitioned, the British ignored them. But after the British had abolished the slavery in all their territories and emancipated their slaves by 1838, the Maroons again unsuccessfully petitioned the British government to repatriate them. The British again refused. However, this time, a Mrs. Mary Brown and a few other Maroons pooled all their resources. They bought a ship and sailed back to Jamaica in 1841. And one of the things I did find out was about 80% of the Maroons in Sierra Leone at the time actually sailed back to Jamaica. So it was a huge number that went back. Of course, many of these Maroons, I mean, this was 40 years later, many of these Maroons had never stepped foot in Jamaica before. And so when they arrived, many were very disappointed to find out that the British still occupied Trelawny and the lands that they were going to live in. And again, they really felt that what they expected of Jamaica, or what they thought they were going to meet, is not what they met. So what actually happened in 1861, 70 to 80 of these Maroons decided to return to Freetown from Jamaica on board a ship called the Clarendon. And so one of the things that I did when I went to the Treaty Day parade was to actually in doing some research, actually found a list of some of these Maroons who returned to Sierra Leone. And I don't know if I can share my screen. Today, this morning, the upsides and downsides of social media, Facebook actually posted on my post one of the memories, and it had the list of some of these people. So if I can share my screen, I just want to go and maybe just show that list.
Yes.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So this is a page. This is a page of list of, as you can see here, list of African immigrants embarked from the port of Kingston, Jamaica, for Sierra Leone. And this is only half of the list. This has about 40 names, about 40 of them here. And I gave a copy of this list to the Flagstaff Maroons when I went on my, when I went to present at the Treaty Day parade. One of the other things, I just wanted to show this because it does show the names there that people might see the last names and recognize, Bright, Brown, Harding, Cole, Bull, Thomas, Johnson, Palmer. So we know a lot of these names are popular names within the Creole community. So, we know that our connection is strong. So I'll just stop sharing that. And then the other thing that I had done is I couldn't find the video, but one of the videos that I took of the celebrations of the Treaty Day, when I posted it on my Facebook page, and I got a lot of comments saying, and I said this was the Maroons in Flagstaff celebrating Treaty Day, and the dancing. A lot of people said, "Oh, this is not like Totin Kopo," and for Creole people will know that Totin Kopo is sort of the type of dance they associate with Gumbe music. And it just really goes to show and reinforce the connection between us. So that's all I wanted to say, Adrian. I don't know if Michael is on. If he's on, Chief Michael Grizzle did a fabulous job yesterday of talking about the Maroons and expanding our history. I think we all thought we knew quite a bit about the history, but he gave us a lot more information than we had known. And it is really good when we have this type of fora to exchange the history. So Adrian, you have to tell me if he's on. I'll welcome my friend and brother Michael.
I was not able to get him, but I know he was looking forward to share the aspiration of the Maroon community after what he had done yesterday, which was as you yourself know, it was breathtaking. He brought information that changed some of what we fundamentally knew. And that's the kind of connection, Melbourne. We know it's out there, and we're really hoping these type of efforts would bring them out.
Yeah. So anyway, you can carry on with your program. I just felt I had to share that bit of history information because I think it's important, and I think we need to know more about these historical connections. And
you know what I think, Melbourne, that list sells? It's the same thing we're all facing. A bad tennis alone, man in the return.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
I mean,
So,
and ups and downs of Freetown, you know, it's part of its history when you look sometimes.
guys, yeah.
Yes. So it's
And
quite.
I just want to also acknowledge, I think there are one or two guests who I had reached out to join this thing today. So I'm not going to embarrass anybody by calling names, but I would like to thank them for participating and hopefully finding out more about this unique connection.
Actually, don't run.
And the Caribbean.
Chief is going to be joining you. We'll be spotlighting Chief. He's making his way in right now. So yes, he's on. So you can do the introduction.
Okay. And Chief Michael, I have already. You might have missed it, but I gave the story about the Maroons returning to Jamaica with Mrs. Mary Brown and others purchasing a ship so that they could come back to Jamaica. And so on that note, I'm going to hand over to my good friend. He's the chief of the Flagstaff or Trelawny Maroons. He invited me and others from Sierra Leone, including the officials from the government, and Isaac Smith, who was chair of the Monuments and Relics, as well as Amadou Masali, and we all came to Jamaica. It was really, I'm looking forward to coming back. And it was really an eye-opening experience. And one of the things I actually did really enjoy was going down on the trail that you took us down to where that, you understand, down this way is where they ended up signing the treaty, and it was very memorable. It is very memorable. And as you know, we've kept in touch. You're an honorary Creole, but you're not even honorary. You're a Creole as well as a Maroon. And so I'll hand over to you now, and I'll just keep quiet.
Maha, Oyankopong, Pikipong. Greetings and thanks again. I'm a little late, but having another appointment, but I have to make time for this very important symposium. And I think, yes, I do miss a lot. We had a lot covered yesterday about our story of not just being enslaved Africans, but being out of these kingdoms and empires of Africa and how we ended up in Jamaica. And yes, we do. I was very elated of having the government of Sierra Leone, along with Brother Garber, who initiated this initiative of further cementing our ties with Sierra Leone. And, again, I would have to say happy anniversary to Sierra Leone on their 230th commemoration of their celebrations. And this symposium, I think, my brothers and sisters, I've been on a lot of phone calls. As I say, I'm off the island of Jamaica right now. But, I'm very in contact with my community. And, we look so much forward in cementing these kind of ties with our African brothers and sisters. And Sierra Leone, our brothers and sisters in Freetown, it is a very important link, as we have established that, a lot of Jamaican enslaved only think about the enslaved part, and Sierra Leone has given us an opportunity to create a bridge and, to create this kind of a link that, a lot of us in Jamaica were saying that, we are Jamaicans. And at the same time, there's people in Sierra Leone who can claim that they're Jamaicans of our ancestors were here and within this transportation. We look so much forward in working together, with everyone in establishing, as we were talking about yesterday, the artifact that we have in Trelawny Town. I've never initiated a proper archaeological dig. We walk and we find artifacts just all over the community, and it is mostly British artifacts. But because we have determined the general location of those three towns that was established in 1795, by 1795, Cudgertown, Furystown, and of course, the central location of the Trelawny town, that, it became known as Trelawny town. Now it became known as Flagstaff, because after 1795, with the transportation of our brothers and sisters from our community to Canada and then to Sierra Leone, the British had built barracks on top of the location of Trelawny town, because they really wanted to suppress the Trelawnys. And after building barracks on top, there's a hill that is in our community that is also in the history books, that is called Gun Hill, that in 1795, Colonel Walpole, who was the last colonel that came up against us, the first colonel was Colonel Sanford, after the war, it's the Second Maroon War. And then we had Finch, and then Colonel Walpole had cleared all of that area, Brother Garber, that we walked that trail to, he had cleared all of that area in 1795 and placed a shrivel gun on top of that, that hill that is called Gun Hill. And so to bomb the Maroons, because of course in our area that is called Cockpit Country, that there is not much surface water. The ecology of this area, although we control 5 waterheads that supplies 40% of Jamaica's fresh water, there is not much surface water. Yeah, everything is in aquifer, is in what we call the aquifers. And so the surface water, there was one spring that Walpole bombed these areas to push the Maroons further away from the water source. Of course, they brought in dogs, because as we say, it was only 360 warriors that was in our community at the time in 1795. And no other communities has assisted us in the Second Maroon War, and hence our transportation to Canada and then to Sierra Leone. And what we're seeing today of what we call, there's a threat, because for 100 years, our ancestors has fought to protect this area. And now we're seeing the importance of this area, even to Jamaica. And I think that, for learning from each other, that in Jamaica, there's what we call bauxite mining. Yeah, that is one of the biggest threats to our community. One of the threats is the suppression of our indigenous status, one of the threat of recognizing us as a sovereign people, and this was taken away back in 1795 from us. We are working together here in Jamaica, and hopefully with our brothers also in Sierra Leone, that we could establish, not to regain, so as we speak about sovereignty, but to actually start to recognize our indigenous status of, being under 1991 United Nations Convention that says that the land must go back to the indigenous people. And of course, our land has been exploited. Now, as we say, they're shrinking our boundaries here in Jamaica. The Mining Act that has been passed only give us 6 inches of that topsoil. So if we find gold or oil or diamonds or anything within our community, it is belonging to the government, and the people does not get the benefit. We are now, because around the Cockpit Country, I had the opportunity of being the chairman for the Forest Management Committee. And my idea around this thing was that, yes, bauxite mining was a big threat, but also the people were also the threat of how they dispose of garbage, how they use chemicals for farming, which goes into the aquifers and kill the microorganisms that are there. And so my idea was to use my community, being that our community as Trelawny Town had a very rich heritage and history, that we could have formulated ecotourism and train people, certify people, create what we call more entrepreneurship, that we could have people that makes the craft, and now, and how we could formulate other different dishes, and having people trained, with institutions for commercial food preparation, or having the artisans cooperative, and to kind of help to link that together with our ecotourism project. Not just the ecotourism project, is not just for tourism. And I see that in Sierra Leone, you have Bounce Island, and you have stuff like that that you would want tourists to come. The difference between us here in the cockpit country, or as a Maroon community, is that we have to be careful of our intellectual knowledge and our indigenous knowledge. For too long, we are giving away our indigenous knowledge without, giving access, without benefit sharing back to our community. You see, doing tours, especially the tours we have designed, is actually tours that not just, if there's no tourist that comes to Jamaica, my community could still survive based on educational purposes with schools, that the school kids could do the field trips to the community, learn of the heritage, learn of the flora and the fauna. I think, in the cockpit country, we have over 3,500 endemic plants that, can cure all different things. And it is that if we bring a university, for instance, from America to our community, they have to sign to say that if they use the knowledge that they gain, go put it in books or make money from it, there's a percentage that should have come back to our community. Not in cash, but it could help to build libraries. It could help with our healthcare system. It could help to fix our roads. It could help to create other welfare programs within our community to assist the elderly and the more vulnerable people within our community. And kind of that is where we're trying to go. As we say, we're trying to work with government to foster a change to the Mining Act, so that our area is so rich because we have over 5,000 karst limestone mountains that is made up of limestone. We have in our caves, we have so much crystals that for storing information. We have Chinese in our community, not our community, but in Jamaica overall. That it is always about, for me, it is always about protecting for the next generations or generations to come. And we are very passionate, and as we are saying, that we give thanks for this opportunity to link with our brothers in Sierra Leone, to even have this kind of a link, that that students from Sierra Leone could be visiting the communities in Trelawny town, or an exchange program with people from Jamaica, or students, mostly young people. I think in Jamaica we have a very high crime rate, yeah. And most of the times we're seeing that is our brothers and sisters who are killing each other, and a lot of times I have had the opportunity of speaking with much of these young people, and I've seen that this story about us just being slaves and, not giving them an opportunity, like my story takes us way beyond slavery. And I've seen the reaction of lots of kids when I speak at the schools, to know that, we were actually kings and queens. We were not just, some people who were barbaric and we just come work on plantation and we were ignorant and illiterate, and, they see beyond just what we're being taught in school. And I think that these kind of exchange programs, and this is what I would like to come out of the symposium, is to cement the link between our communities and the sharing of information and ideas of how, we could go forward, and and for me, I'm so sorry that I was late, and I'm so sorry that I cannot stay much long, because for traveling and stuff, but I'm happy that I could make the time, because this is so very important to be on these kind of symposium, to have this platform to link with our brothers and sisters. And as we say, that, you know, unity, you know, is strength. Within every community, there's always a divide and rule. And, you know, a lot of people, for me, I've never, I'm not a machete wielding warrior anymore. I'm a diplomat, and I'm a, you know, not just coming with force, but coming more with intelligence, and, you know, can bring dialogue, you know, between government and our community, you know, that we could work hand in hand. Sentiment of the younger generation to try to change the mindset. You know, in Jamaica, we have a garbage problem. You know, the beaches are flooded with plastics and all of that. There is no projects that, you know, we're just seeing people driving in cars and just throwing out the thing. There's no pride about, you know, our environment and stuff like that. So it is really an honor to share, you know, and I again thank Mr. Akindale and thank, you know, Mr. Adrian, and, you know, Pastor Richard Barber Richards, you know, and Isatu Simit and Omatu Sise, and, you know, people like these who believe in the dream. You know, in 2016, they actually came to Jamaica, to their home, you know, and, you know, Mr. Garber, who, you know, initiated this, Mr. Amuda Misali, you know, which no matter what differences we have, you know, we have to put our differences aside and work together for the benefit of preserving our heritage, you know, and it is such a rich one that, you know, it's worthwhile. And as we are saying yesterday, that, you know, with the artifacts we have and with what you guys are finding there, and with the suits and the linkage back to the names, and to have a central museum, you know, to make people, you know, to help to preserve this heritage that, you know, as we say, the Trelawny Town Maroons, we have a very prolific and a very vibrant heritage, because we have a transatlantic heritage that is surpassed all other peoples that come into even this island of Jamaica. We came from Africa to here. We went back to Africa. We came back here, and we're still coming back, you know, and that sort of link, you know, to you know, it brings a lot of passion to my heart, you know, to share these experiences with younger people within my community, because at one point, you know, people would put America or England or all of these places in front of the kids, and they make Africa looks like a dark place. You know, they give us like an image of God being white, and, you know, if the white man sees God as white, no problem. That's what makes them powerful. If the Indians see God as Indian, yes, that's what makes them powerful. If the Chinese see God as Chinese, that makes them powerful. Why can't we see the God in our own image and our likeness and be proud of who we are as a people? In Jamaica, we have a problem of bleaching. People are changing their color. People are, you know, not identifying with their roots. And the young kids, you know, are being so much astray. And, you know, and that leads us to, you know, just being someone, you know, and as we say, Brother Garber, that Mary Brown, thanks to her, I mean, for since 1795, when they were taken from this island to Canada and then to Sierra Leone, and she, after a while, could purchase her own ship, to how passionate they were about this island. You know, just like the Africans who were in Al-Andalusia, Spain, who knew Jamaica. Columbus was lost. He didn't know, but they knew here. And this beautiful island, this paradise, that, you know, it's a dot on the map, but we through music and through the heritage, even through the people they say, you know, like Rastafari, who as we cannot get a job. But I'm always saying, even to the government of Jamaica, I say you can never see a wanted Rastaman. You can never see, we are very creative. We're, you know, we're so independent. We live off the land. We speak about naturality. Now we have cannabis, you know, that I do not smoke, you know, for cannabis, but after the industry that we see came out of cannabis, you know, with the THC, the CBD, the thing that is good for for epilepsy, the thing that is good for cancer, for chemotherapy, and the help of the medicine in the cannabis plant. That's where we want to take this kind of part. You know, for Rastafari, we only smoke cannabis as a sacrament. Yeah. But I do not want to see people coming to Jamaica and say, oh, they just think we're under a tree smoking cannabis and getting high. And it's so much more that, you know, and not just for cannabis, but even the endemic plants that we have here that, you know, I've never been to the doctor. You know, I have a cold, I go drink some Leaf Alive and some diet and mix 3 bushes together and stuff like that, you know, that we could actually develop on, you know, to foster economic development within our communities, you know, without, you know, the governments are broke, you know, they borrow so much money, and a lot of governments are very corrupt that they take what should be for the people. You know, it is time that we show our true Maroon heritage by formulating true governance with transparency and accountability, you know, in every organization, you know, whether a football club, whether anything, and how do we foster our treasury? How do we, you know, create this way and not buy a car with the people's money that should have gone to the hospital, you know, and that's where I'm talking to my other brothers and sisters to foster this kind of a development. And, you know, I'm so very sorry that, you know, we could be speaking on this topic, you know, for forever. It is our passion, you know what I mean? And I really thank you guys for initiating this, this symposium, you know, and I really look forward in extending at this point to invite you all to Trelawny Town, Flagstaff also. And I hope that in the future, I will be able to visit Sierra Leone, you know, to really reconnect with the people and to really join in forces, you know, with the Monuments and Relics Commission, with the African group, you know, the curator group, to help to, you know, develop these templates for further proposals, you know, otherwise from government, to help to develop these programs, you know, for young people to experience firsthand, you know, and it is my life's passion, you know, it's my life's work, you know. I grew up in a resort town, and I moved to the mountains with my grandmother, and my grandmother was always telling me these stories. And my mother and dad would always say, I shouldn't listen to her because she was senile. And she was speaking the story about Nanny and, you know, and about our ancestors and how they came here. And it so happens that, you know, it was cemented in 2016 that, because in many Maroon communities, I must say this, Brother Garber, that in many Maroon communities, there are colonels, yeah? Colonels are instilled in a community by government and the Governor General. Yeah, a chief is instilled by his people and the connection to an African country. And this was very historical in 2016 to have Sierra Leone recognize Chief Michael Grizzle. And I'm sorry that I didn't, because I was traveling, didn't know of the symposium, else I would be in my garb that was given to me by Miss Isatu Simmet and Brother Garber and the delegation from Sierra Leone, which I kept very close to my heart, you know. And so it's really an honor to, you know, have this time to express this feeling and to further seek the opportunity to cement our ties together, you know, and remember that you have a family in Jamaica, and this family in Jamaica recognizes our family, the Creole Descendant Union, was, you know, make us an honorary member, you know. I so look forward to the reunification of all. I thank you so very much for this opportunity. I do have to go, and I really look forward in connecting with everybody, and, you know, and taking what we, you know, it's our life's work. You know, it's better for us to make our life become meaningful, of doing the right thing, because our conscience can tell us what to do. and what we can live with. And my granduncle, I must leave you with this. Blood Brother Garber, because we had an anthem for the Maroon community, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And they have said that I must tell you guys it. It goes like this. We as children of Africa, we have been proud, giving thanks and praises, standing tall on this island of Jamaica, rekindling the true spirit of our national heroes, Brother Kojo and Sister Nani. They guide us children, drumming, sounding the abeng sound of a call. Almighty, Almighty God, true master of all nations, reveal unto our thirst these symbol of praises that guide us throughout creation. Almighty, Almighty God, true master of all nations, who will pay for the blood-burning sweat, oppression, tears of all Africans. For through the lust of material eyes, we have closed our spiritual eyes and are ashamed to open them. Oh, what a glory, glory, when our feelings are covered under the length of our locus and the look of God appears so dreadful in your eyes. Come, let us sing, sing the Maroon chant. Come, let us sing, sing the African chant, drumming, sounding the Abeng sound of a call. I thank you so much. Brother Garber, we'll always keep in touch. Mr. Adrian, we definitely will keep in touch. Brother Akindale, give my regards to Brother Richards, Miss Isatu Simit, Omar Tusise, and all the rest of your team. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Much blessed love.
Thank you very much.
The Abeng is calling. The Abeng is calling.
Yes, the Abeng is calling. And the Abeng is the on we use for communication. The first telephone. It is the first telephone in the world.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Adrian, over to you.
Yes, this was powerful.
Inspire. Connect. Transform. Marking one journey in heritage. African Curator.